Good morning, it's Sharon with Soups and So On. We're going to be making another soup today. It's really just a little bit of a twist on vegetable beef soup. I don't use stew meat or roast beef like my mom used to. Years ago, a family moved in next door to us from Kentucky, Nancy and Junior. And Nancy and I became like sisters. We still are to this day, although she's back in Kentucky. She said, Sharon, I make that same soup, but I use hamburger meat instead. Well, hamburgers sound great to me because we're on a budget. We're both young stay-at-home moms and we're trying to stretch our food dollar. So hamburger meat sounded just fine. I started using it with hamburger meat and I love it. I actually like it better. Sorry, Mom. I like it better. There's a couple little tricks I want to tell you about with using the hamburger meat. And I've got my pot back here. I'm going to turn it on. I'm not going to put any oil in the skillet. I don't want to fry this meat like you would for taco meat or spaghetti or chili. I want to actually I want to boil it. That's what I want to do. But that's about 1.5 pounds that I just put in there. I found out a long time ago, if I put a lot of water in this, like to make soup, what you get is a unappetizing brown foam that rises to the top. You have to skim it off. It just doesn't look good. I don't like it. So I put it in here and put just a little bit of water over it. Just enough to cover it, not very much at all. And it's already thawed out. It's pretty well broken up. Many times, as before when I mentioned with the chicken, if you forget, if you're in a hurry and you don't get the hamburger meat out of the freezer, I've put blocks of hamburger meat in just like that. Cover it with a little bit of water, flip it over with a fork and rake it off, flip it over, rake it off. Takes about 5 or 10 minutes at the most to thaw it out. So if you forget to thaw it out, start it frozen anyway, it doesn't matter. I am gonna salt and pepper it, and I don't measure, sorry, that was probably a teaspoon and probably 3/4 of a teaspoon of pepper, and another seasoning I can't live without, Cavender's Greek seasoning. I think I put this in everything except desserts. I love that. So this is going to take a few minutes for that to more or less, not going to brown like hamburger meat. It's going to take the pink off and get cooked. As soon as it does, I'm going to add my potatoes. Today I used red potatoes. I used russets many times. Not much difference. If I use russets, I peel them. I'm not really crazy about eating that peeling in a soup. If I use red, like I did today, I just scrub them real good with a scrub brush, and if there's any little blemishes on the outside that look bad, of course, cut it off. But this was for medium to small potatoes. They weren't real big, not real small. This is about 4 medium potatoes, and I hear this bubbling behind me. I'm sure you can see the steam. And actually I can go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and get the potatoes in because it takes them a while to cook. I don't like to add my other ingredients until these potatoes get cooked. And at this point I'm going to add more water, and I wish I could show you what this looks like. I'm just going to let this cook for probably 15 minutes. Those little potato chunks can get tender. And if you've noticed, I dice these up pretty small. My carrots, celery, and onion are really small. I just don't like big chunks in my soup. Some do, I don't. That's why I cut my things pretty small. So we're gonna let this cook for a few minutes. Be back in a minute. This is kind of what that meat, the hamburger meat, and the potatoes look like in the pot, bubbling away. Probably give that about 5 more minutes. Okay, the soup, as far as the hamburger meat and the potatoes are bubbling away. I'm going to turn this stove on and we're going to saute my carrots, onions, and celery. That's what's going to happen right now. Got about 6 tablespoons of butter that I'm going to put in this pan. I love this big skillet. I'm going to use some olive oil from the Queen Creek olive mill. Out in Queen Creek, if you've never been there, you need to go. They have wonderful olive oils, balsamic vinegars, olives, just a bunch of things that's really high quality. Their olive oil is the greatest. And I'm going to use some that's a roasted garlic flavor. That won't hurt my soup a bit, and I probably put 2 tablespoons in there. So that's going to get to sizzling. And then I'm going to saute the vegetables. As soon as this, don't put them in there until it gets really hot. You don't want to burn your butter, but you really need to get it hot. There's nothing like the sound and the smell of these veggies hitting that hot butter and oil and that sizzle. I love that sound. Soup is bubbling away over here. It's time to put the veggies in and scrape them in there. I think it's nice and hot. Yep, I like that sizzle. I love that sound. My trusty little spatula that I've learned to love. I don't know why. I think it was because it was Aunt Louise's. Once again, I'm going to salt these vegetables. Pepper again. Greek seasoning again. Sometimes I put garlic powder, but I won't since I just used that garlic flavored oil from Queen Creek olive mill. I was so excited. I go to their garlic festival every year. It was 2 weekends ago, and I buy 2 years supply of garlic. That's right, I do. I'll tell you about that someday, how I preserve that. But I got a phone call from him yesterday. I was so excited. I won a huge gift basket there. It's about $200 worth of items from the olive mill, so I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, I'm going to start adding some more things to this pot. I don't like to use a lot of canned goods. I usually cook with fresh ingredients, but in this soup I do. And there's 5 things I put in it. Number 1, I'm going to go ahead and put in a can of diced tomatoes. Let me grab another spatula over here. There's my diced tomatoes. That's going in. And next, I put a can of cut green beans, and I'll have all that listed. There's my can of cut green beans. Now, about a year or 2 ago, I went to see Nancy in Kentucky, the one that told me about the soup from the start. And she had some made when I got there. And she said, Sharon, I've been adding a new ingredient to our soup. And I said, what? She said, water chestnuts. And I said, water chestnuts? Are you kidding me? You know, an oriental product in this soup. So I tasted it and I really liked it. It just adds this little crunch to it. And it was so funny. I forgot to tell you from the beginning that this soup, I call it Monique's soup, because I have a granddaughter that's 33 every time she came through the door, Nanny, do you have any homemade soup? Well, to her, this is homemade soup. It's the only soup. And she loves it. To this day, I'll call her and I'll take some by her job. And she loves this soup, so it's Monique's soup. But she was here a month or so ago, and I gave her a bowl of it, and she ate about 2 bites, and she stopped. She says, Nanny, what did you do to this soup? There's something different. I said, you could tell? She said, of course I could tell. I've been eating this for 30 years. So she recognized right away that there was something different. But I really like it. So here is my can of the water chestnuts. And if you'll notice, you might not have noticed, but I drained that and the green beans. I really don't like to put their liquid in my soup. I like to know what's going on in my soup. And so I drain those. The next item I'm going to put in, I think I better put these sauteed vegetables in right now. They are sizzling away. There's my little paddle there, but I'll use this one. I'm going to go ahead and put those in. So that's taken care of. And next is my cream corn. And I know all about corn. I know we're not supposed to eat it. I know it's not supposed to be healthy for us. But in this, I put cream corn. I don't like whole kernel corn in it. I've had it in there in a pinch, but I don't like it. And the only reason I can think of is because that's what my mother did. So I always use a can of cream corn in this soup, and that's going in. And this little ingredient, I started adding it several years ago. It's a little can of V8 juice, and I just love an added little zip that this gives to my soup. And so that is it. Everything is in the soup. Gonna let it bubble for a little while and cook and blend those flavors. And I think I've got to have some more liquid. It's too thick. That looked more like a casserole than a soup. So let that cook a while. And do you guys wash your lids on your cans before you use them? I do. I can't bear to open a lid if I haven't washed it. All I can picture in my mind is a big warehouse with a bunch of little mice running around playing tag on my vegetable cans, and I don't like that idea. So I always bring my cans over and wash around the rims of the lid before I use them. Kind of quirky, but that's what I do. That's what it looks like bubbling away. It's just chock full of veggies. And there it is, ready to eat. This is my favorite. Well, there you have it. Another segment of Sharon's Soups and So On. I think this is my favorite soup of all. I hope you'll try it. I love it. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And most of all, hit that little subscribe button if you haven't. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye-bye.